Hi everyone, Sarah Picaro. Today we're going to be talking about advice and what advice you have taken that you should have, right? And also even more than that, what is it within you that accepted that advice, that allowed you to take that advice and then implement it into your life? Because bad advice can ruin your life, or it can at least set it on a completely different trajectory. Because if we're always one decision away from a completely different life and you accept that advice, you will notice, and I'm going to share my personal experience with this, that everything within you changes. And it doesn't always change for the better, especially if you're coming from a place of accepting advice because you're trying to trying to figure out and trying to heal those unhealed wounds and trying to figure out how to get on a different path, how to have a different life. And remembering you're always one decision away from a completely different life. So advice that doesn't work just makes things worse. That's why I always caution everyone, right? Watch out. Watch out for what people are telling you. What are their motives in telling you that? And what are your motives for asking for advice? Because when you're asking for advice, what's happening is that you're looking for something external, something outside of you from other people's thoughts, views, and opinions on what you should do and the decision that you should make in your life. That can significantly impact everything. So, a personal experience of mine is when I was going through a separation, divorce from the first covert narcissist. I remember getting my hair done. It feels good to get your hair done. And she knew of the situation. Hairdressers can kind of be like therapists in a way, because you sit in that chair and you just vent and you blah about everything that's going on in your life. So, with that, let me just make sure. Okay, microphone's good. I got a lot of comments about that. So, the hairdresser knew a lot about what was going on in my personal life, and knowingly, right, was trying to make me feel better. And she was telling me, Sarah, you're such an incredible person. You don't deserve all those things. You deserve better, which were really nice and kind words, and which she felt were true words, and I felt were true words as well. But the advice that she gave me next was, we were talking about how different things are dating. I mean, mind you, this was years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago. But she had worked with someone else who had, a boyfriend, and they were in a really great relationship, really happy, really healthy, and they met online. So the advice she gave me was, well, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. And having had a lot of trouble in the relationship that I was telling her about, the one that was I was leaving, getting out of, and separating from, I thought, wow. She said, you deserve to be taken out, wined and dined and appreciated and treated well. You deserve to feel really good. And, girls have needs, right? And I thought, yeah, girls do have needs. I agree with you. And I hadn't been treated like that. And you're right. Maybe I should get back out there. So, how do you do this whole online dating thing? Well, really, really bad advice to accept and to take when I was in the position that I was in, when I was emotionally traumatized, unavailable, really needed to work on myself and heal those inner unhealed wounds within me that led me to being in that type of emotionally abusive relationship, to staying in it for far too long. The advice that she should have given was, take time and work on yourself. But here's the thing with advice. Perhaps she gave me that advice, but I blocked it out. And now I'm here telling you she didn't tell me that. Maybe she did. I can't recall, because we hear the things that we want to hear. We accept and allow and believe the things that we want to accept, allow, and believe. Isn't that the way that things work? But when you're in a place of people giving you advice and you accept, allow it, take it, and believe it, it can significantly alter and change the course and trajectory of your life. Reflecting back now, hindsight 2020, if I had rejected instead of accepted that advice, perhaps things would be different. And I would never, ever want them to be different, because when I accepted that advice, I did go online, I did start swiping, I did start dating. But I think the second date was with the malignant narcissist, and man, their claws are sharp. And because I was coming such from an emotionally wounded place myself, connected with that malignant narcissist emotional wounds. And it was that trauma bond that just was was like bondoed, that trauma bond that was bondoed. And I found myself stuck in that relationship for years as well, until things got so bad that I didn't want to live anymore. Until I met the darkest of days and the darkest of hours that I've ever experienced. And then getting out from that even deeper, darker hole. So advice, if accepted at the wrong time or given at the wrong time, or advice that doesn't work, can just make things worse. Uh, I do believe that her intention was to have me go out, feel happy, feel alive, go have fun and go enjoy life. But it wasn't advice that worked for me in that time in my life. And bad advice can just make things worse. But I do believe it came from a well-intended place, but it wasn't what I needed to hear. And that's why the work that I do now with people is not life coaching, is not advice, because you can accept something that you should be rejecting. And if it doesn't come from within you, if it comes from anything external and from something outside of you, it's more than likely not right for you. But you may be in such an emotionally traumatized place inside your mind. Your mind may be not working properly or correctly because of the past narcissistic abuse, because of the gaslighting, because of the manipulation. You may be in a state of always looking for something outside of yourself and asking people, what would you do if you were me? What do you think I should do? And accepting those things that end up hurting you and causing more emotional damage, more mental damage, more spiritual damage. So that is why it is so profoundly imperative to do the work to heal those unhealed places within you, and to go within instead of going outside of you and accepting what other people tell you you should do. That's actually part of what got you into the place that you're in the first place with a narcissist. So often we feel something internally and we can identify whether it feels right or wrong or good or bad for us and for our lives and for our mental and emotional health, but we go against that and we go with what other people say. We have gone with what the narcissist said that we should do. And then we end up in this darkness and these spirals and in these depths and down these rabbit holes where we don't even know who we are anymore. So that's the problem with advice. Bad advice can often make things worse. So if that's where you're at, I will throw this question out there. What is it within you that has you looking for things outside of you for the answers in hopes to improve your life, to heal it, to fix it, to feel better? And if that's what you're doing, you're looking in the wrong place. It's all about turning it around and turning it inward to go within and heal those unhealed places, those places that are looking outside of you and asking others, well, what would you do if you were me? If you were in my shoes, what would you do? If you were in my position? I mean, tell me, please, because I have no idea. And it can feel like you have no idea, but that's a lie. That is not the truth. The truth is, you just may be feeling the resistance and feeling the blocks from knowing. There may be a disconnect between your heart and your mind. This may feel off. It may feel out of alignment. It may feel like one is not talking to the other. Your head is telling you one thing, that voice inside is telling you one thing, but your heart is pulling you another direction. So you feel pulled all directions and you just want that feeling to stop. You want it to go away so you can feel in alignment with all of your relationships in your life, in your career, and everything. And you'll notice externally, you're doing things that you wish you wouldn't do. You're doing things to sabotage your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, whatever it is, to sabotage your career, your relationships, your friendships. There are, relationships with your children even come into play with this, and you don't know why. You explode on them, you go off on them because you're listening to too many external things. So when you can turn that around and turn it inward and rewire, reprogram that unconscious mind of yours that is looking for something externally, or that says the answer's out there, go find it, go get it, then everything shifts and changes, because that is just looking to others for advice. And the bad advice can even just make things worse. And if that's true, and you are always one decision away from a completely different life, why are you letting other people make that decision for you? Why are you going to something outside of yourself to make that decision? It's no wonder when you do that over and over and over and over, time after time, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years' time, you have no idea where you are in life. You have no idea what you like, what you don't like, because you have been so conditioned and so programmed to listen to what other people tell you should do. And so it's no wonder you feel like you're wandering through life with a lost, a GPS that's disconnected from the system, from the source, because essentially it is. So it's about reconnecting, reprogramming, rewiring, and having your heart and your mind in alignment with your body and listening to yourself instead of others. And maybe you don't always follow that, but at least you can hear it and at least you can feel it. But chances are, right now, if you're in that place where this video resonates with you, that has been buried so deep and it feels so far out there. And that's the only thing that you wish, deserve, and desire is to reconnect with that so that you stop accepting bad advice. Because again, it can just completely alter and throw you off your intended and your desired path, the path that has been laid for you. But you may feel like you're living the life of someone else. And if that is the case, it's no wonder you feel the way you do, right? You're riddled with anxiety, you're self-sabotaging, you're afraid of failure, or you're afraid of judgment, you're afraid of what other people are going to think or say if you make a move, you're afraid of being vulnerable and putting yourself out there, you're afraid of getting into a healthy, loving relationship, and have no idea what that would even look like or take. And you're riddled with anxiety, fear, stress, sadness, depression. All those things go hand in hand. So that's my word of wisdom to you today, is that advice that doesn't work just makes things worse. And bad advice, what's the other one? Bad advice can ruin your life. Those were the two things that came to me today. And just wanted to share a little bit of my personal experience. People that I work with to completely transform and break through are in that place where they're ready to stop accepting advice or ready to go within, heal those things within them that had them doing that got them to that place in the first place, and have it show up in their relationships, in their friendships, in their career, and significantly change and break through everything to live a completely different life, one where they are in the driver's seat, not someone else. So if that's where you are and you notice those habits, patterns, behaviors within you, and you want to break free from doing those because you see how if you continue on the path of doing those, you will continue to feel all the things that you don't want to feel. You're ready to not feel those things anymore, have tried a million other things to do to try and break those and they haven't worked, or they have worked, but only for a time, and you're ready for something more, something deeper, ready to really, really connect within yourself and heal those inner unhealed wounds, then I would love to connect. So there's more information in the link below, in the description below this video, and about the transformational program that I have if you kind of want to go through that journey on your own or with group support, or if you were looking to just get straight to it and work one-to-one. So thank you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon.